Let's take it from the top.
This is the Lowdown Sports Show.
Give me the lowdown.
With Drew.
I just heard your dad might already hate you, and I was like,
Yeah.
what, brother? Oh, man.
And BJ.
Yeah, he could be part of the mascot's entourage and be throwing T-shirts into the crowd.
And it all starts right now.
All right, welcome into another episode of the Lowdown Sports Show. I'm your host, Drew.
And I'm BJ.
And we're here to get the lowdown on all things basketball. Going around the association for the 30th time.
30 times already.
We don't want to think about 30 too much, BJ. We're right around the corner from
well, you know, that's the worst thing that you started to say all night, and we're just now starting the show. This is off to a bad start, Drew. Can we get a redo or no? Okay, we're still live. All right.
And we're back to the low. All right. But guys, a good show for you today, of course, going around the association because we got a lot to talk about. Been a long time since we talked some NBA and WNBA. Last time we were here, we were talking college hoops with Coach Tripp. And if you missed that episode, go watch it. Go check it out and go check out Tripp's Top 10 and Coach's Corner as well. But we got a lot on tap today on the NBA side. In-season tournament down to its final 8. We know who's going to be playing for the in-season tournament trophy. We're going to talk about it. Josh Giddey is in the news lately. We'll talk about what he's in the news for. And Mark Cuban selling a little bit of our Dallas Mavericks. A lot of it, actually. A majority stake, as a matter of fact.
What could that be all about?
And in the WNBA, we got some stars putting up some numbers overseas, and got to talk about that. Balling overseas, and some landing spots for one of those WNBA stars that's not playing overseas. Skylar Diggins-Smith, former Dallas Swing. Let's see where she wants to go. And Chiney Ogwumike got hitched. Let's celebrate her today.
She was wed.
I got married and stuff. That's what's on the docket here today. And before we get into all that, we want to give shouts out to our partners, TeePublic, Fanatics, and SeatGeek. SeatGeek is a ticket app that takes confusion out of buying tickets. Use code the Lowdown in all caps for $20 off your first order. And ladies and gents, I know it's been a while, but if you have forgotten, this show is presented by StatHead, and my man BJ's got a stat of the episode.
That is right, Drew. I do, and it's funny we were going to be talking about her later on in the episode, but as part of the player comparison tool, just one that kind of popped up, almost seemingly to be inspired by the show notes today. One of the sample comparisons that you can do to compare players head-to-head stats popped up with Skylar Diggins-Smith and Kelsey Mitchell. So you go and look at what Diggins-Smith, I should say, and Kelsey Mitchell have done respectively in their careers. And Kelsey Mitchell's not too far off of Diggins-Smith's pace in her career so far, although Skylar Diggins-Smith is 9-1 all time in the 10 matchups that the two teams that she has been on when they both faced off against each other. Skylar Diggins-Smith only averaging 0.3 of a point more so far through her career than Kelsey Mitchell at this point at 16.7 to 16.4. Diggins-Smith does average a full assist or full rebound more per contest at 3 boards per game compared to Mitchell's 2, and 2 more assists per contest at 5 to 3. But the field goal percentage is very close at 41.7 for Diggins-Smith, 41.6 for Kelsey Mitchell. Mitchell, the better 3-point shooter at 37.3%, and Diggins-Smith a little bit more accurate at the free throw line, 84.8% compared to Mitchell's 84.1%. The difference then becomes when you look further down. Well, Skylar has 4 first-team All-WNBA selections, 6 All-WNBA selections, and 6 All-Star nods, while Mitchell just has the 1 lone All-Star nod at this point early in her career. So not too far off the pace, at least in terms of the counting stats, but there's going to have to be kind of a significant step up and more appreciation for what Kelsey Mitchell's doing across the league in order to maybe give her a chance.
Keep that stat up for later.
Okay. All right. You got it.
And that's your stat of the episode.
That is the stat of the episode. Absolutely, Drew.
I like that, and that makes things all the more intriguing for later, especially what I got to talk about in that department. But yes, there's your stat of the episode, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's dive on into our NBA. Before we do that, before I misstep, make sure you follow us on social media. All the socials above us right now: Threads, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, X, and Facebook. All at _lowdown. That's THA_lowdown on all those platforms, except for Twitch. There's no underscore. But give us a follow on all that. We appreciate it. And follow us wherever you get your podcasts as well. Apple, Spotify. Rate and review the show. We'd appreciate that for sure. And now, let's talk about that NBA stuff. NBA in-season tournament. BJ, let's take a look at that bracket.
All right. We've got the bracket for you on the screen right now, Drew.
Yes, indeed. We got the final 8 here, BJ. It has come and gone. It's almost gone. Anyway, It's come so fast, and all the games have already been played. We've got what we're going to be seeing here pretty soon as the teams match up, and by the end of next week, just about by next Saturday, I believe that is December 9th.
Yep.
We'll have a in-season tournament champion, and man, it's gone by pretty fast. And BJ, taking a look at some of this, let's go ahead and look at let's talk about if we got our listeners out there. Not everybody can see this, but on the west side of things, 4 seed going to be the Phoenix Suns. They'll match up with the 1 seed Lakers in the quarterfinals, and the 3 seed is the New Orleans Pelicans, and they're matching up with the Sacramento Kings in that quarterfinal matchup on the west side of things. In the east, the 4 seed is the New York Knicks, and they'll be matching up with the number 1 seed Milwaukee Bucks. The other matchup in the East, the last one, 3 seed Boston Celtics will match up with the 2 seed Indiana Pacers. All these quarterfinal games being played on December 4th and 5th in the team markets. So these are nice matchups. Like think about these scenarios, BJ. LeBron versus KD, DeMontis Sabonis versus Zion.
Yeah. And I mean, whoever wins that game, for the Kings and the Pelicans, looking at potentially either a matchup with Durant or LeBron in the semis. And then you're looking at either, Giannis and Damian Lillard going head to head, either, potentially a matchup that we could see in the playoffs with, Milwaukee and Boston later on in the year, or, don't discredit what Indiana's done. I mean, this is kind of the team that really is that one that we were talking about. Somebody's going to come in and surprise us and end up making the final 8. And I think it's got to be Indiana at this point, that, based on where everybody was kind of expecting them to be preseason, where they were kind of right on the outskirts of playoff, or basically in that play-in considerations, to be the 2 seed and be hosting the in-season tournament quarterfinal game with a chance to play in Vegas for the in-season tournament championship. This is quite a turnaround for the Pacers.
Most definitely exceeding my expectations. That is for sure. And I saw a stat regarding the Pacers is Tyrese Halliburton. I'm trying to find it. I thought I had it on Instagram, but I think I might have shared it on X. But I have found it. It is on X. Tyrese Halliburton is the 4th player in NBA history to record 375 plus points, 175 plus assists in the first 15 games of a season, joining a very exclusive list, BJ, joining just Tiny Archibald in 1972 and 73, Oscar Robertson in 1961 and 62, and James Harden in 2016-17.
Wow. That's crazy. And then you said that's in back-to-back seasons? He's the first or the 4th to do in back-to-back seasons?
It's not back-to-back seasons. It's first 15 games of a season.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I heard that all 3 of those guys had done it in back-to-back seasons at the start of the season, sound like. So that's why I was maybe that's where I got a little confused.
Well, we'll see. This is his first time around on this.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he can do it again next year.
If it's something that he can sustain, you absolutely watch out. This has been a phenomenal start for what the Pacers were wanting to accomplish and what they've been able to do so far this year. And I think that they're a team that you can't overlook and write off in this in-season tournament bracket. I mean, I would be very concerned about playing them, even with the talent that we've seen from Boston and how good they've been over the last few years.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Pacers have been a problem. I mean, look at some of the teams that they beat, in these in-season tournament matchups. As I've got the groups right here, Indiana in their 4-0 to get to the 2 seed. They defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, who have kind of had a topsy-turvy season, but we're 3-1 in this in-season tournament, but they didn't make the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Philadelphia 76ers, one of the best teams in the league. The Atlanta Hawks, a good team in the East, and the stinker Detroit Pistons, but they handily did it with the point differential. They got them the 2 seed on the East side of things. And what I was looking at before this, I was trying to see which team had the hardest road in-season tournament play of the teams that are in this quarterfinal matchup right now. I think maybe the weakest was the Lakers.
Yeah,
from what
probably.
I'm looking at so far. They had a depleted Suns team. I believe it had no Beal or Booker in that game. I'd have to double check. But they played Memphis, they played Portland, they played Utah. So not the best teams in the world out there in the West. And looking at the others, Pelicans had a decently tough road in there, but not to get too off topic, but we've got some intrigue here, BJ. I mean, the Pacers are one of the teams in this in-season tournament Final 8 that have not gotten an NBA championship. I mean, this is not an NBA championship, but it could.
It's a championship given by the NBA, but it's not.
It could be a precursor for one. I mean, it has been in the WNBA at one time, not this year, but last year, with the Aces winning the Commissioner's Cup, then winning the title. So, I mean, it could happen here. I mean, definitely something to it's going to be a great team moment for whoever wins it, but they are one of the teams without a Vince Lombardi. Or not the Vince Lombardi, excuse me. Larry O'Brien. What am I doing?
I was just about to say, wait a minute. What sport are we covering here, Drew?
The Larry O'Brien in their cabinet.
Yeah.
And the facilities in there. So,
I'm
for something to put in there.
I'm really surprised at how everything shook out. You're talking about a team in Orlando that they completed everything last week, and I really thought that they had already clinched a spot, but that was not to be the case when the results happened at the end of Tuesday night's action, and New York found out they were going to be heading to Milwaukee instead of Orlando. Orlando, one of the hottest teams so far in the league. They've won 8 in a row, and you lose one game in the in-season tournament in group play, and that's enough at some point to knock you down and knock you out. So,
yeah, and some of these teams, they squeaked in due to the point differentials and things like that and the records. So, like the Orlando Magic were 3-1 in this in Group C, along with the Brooklyn Nets, but they had just 22 and 20 point differentials. Teams like the Phoenix Suns, who had 34, and let's see who else. The New York Knicks, who had 42 in their point differential, squeaked them into this right here. So it all mattered in this in-season tournament stuff here. But BJ, what we're breaking it down to is we got some good matchups that are going to be fun to watch here, especially teams that are healthier now. Suns have Booker. Suns, I believe, still have Beal. Anthony Davis is still playing right now. D'Lo Russell just had a pretty good game not too long ago. His most points as a Laker since being traded back. So time for these games. The first ones that are going to be being played are the Monday matchups on the 4th. And the first one is the Pacers-Celtics matchup at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. Let's go ahead and make some predictions on these matchups, BJ.
Okay.
I can't remember. Are these? Is it just one game offs in all these?
I think it's just got to be winner go home. Basically, I think it's like it's a playoff matchup, except it's not a best of 7. It's a game 7 atmosphere, or it should be, at least that's what they're wanting.
Because they call this the knockout round. That's why I was kind of questioning it for a second. But isn't every round a knockout round? You lose.
Well, going forward, I mean, there can be only one.
Right.
But yeah, so this is the knockout round to get you into the semifinals, to get you to Vegas.
Okay.
And then you keep winning, and you'll be ultimately the champions. So
that's true. I forgot because I said earlier it's team markets in these quarterfinals, and so that's what's going to be happening there. I'm the lower seed will host these games, I believe, in the team markets. And so first game, we said Pacers, Celtics. Who you got Pacers, Celtics moving on in this matchup, BJ?
Man, I've been talking good about the Pacers, but that talent in Boston, I think it's just going to be a little too much to overcome. I think there's going to be some heartbroken fans at the Fiserv, or not the Fiserv, that's Milwaukee, over in Indianapolis on Monday night. I'm going to take the Celtics to win that one.
Okay. I'm gonna be controversial here and break some hearts. I'm gonna say Pacers take down Celtics to move on in this in-season tournament.
I like it when we disagree.
Yeah.
One of us will be right for sure.
Following this game, which I'll probably end up being asleep for, definitely by halftime because work. Kings Pelicans at 9:00 Central, 10:00 Eastern.
And this one's going to be in Sacramento.
Yep. And light the beam if they get the W. They'll do that out there. And who you got moving on, BJ? Kings, Pelicans.
Yeah, I don't know who you're taking. I'm not trying to, start any controversies or anything like that. But, I feel like the road team wins this one again. I'm going to take Zion and the Pelicans to win this one on the road. I'm sorry to disappoint Kings fans. No lighting the beam. No trip to Vegas to play for the semifinals.
Man. I got to stay true to how I felt about the Kings going into this season, even though they're playing all right now, especially with Fox back. But I'll get the Pelicans to move on. Zion just had a freak Zion type game and didn't miss a field goal. He's one of he had an exclusive list. I feel like I should have this stat handy, but I don't. Exclusive list of players who scored 30 plus and didn't miss at all from the field. In their latest game, 11 for 11, had, I believe, 33 points and led the Pelicans to a dub. So he'll lead them to another dub and to Vegas. Pelicans over Kings. No beam lighting.
Was that the 29th? Was it just last night? Because my stats say he went 11 of 12. So
what? I saw the graphics and everything.
Okay, so I'm seeing two different things. I'm seeing 11 of 11, but that was also that was from the game against Philly.
I didn't specify like a game, like which one,
okay.
Like last time out or anything.
Yeah, so it says that on Wednesday night, the Pelicans defeated the Sixers. He made history with a 33-point performance, became the first player in franchise history to shoot 11 from the floor in a game.
Okay, yeah, it was against the Sixers when he had 33, 8, and 6. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he won 11 for 12 in the latest game?
I think that this is off because I've seen two different things. The story that was written says 11 of 11, but this stat that I'm looking at right here says 11 of 12. I'll double check in a different spot, see if I can get confirmation one way or the other.
That would be super crazy if he only missed one field goal in 2 games.
I think it's just the same game, but one of the two is right and the other's wrong, if I had to guess.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't see if they had another game since or not. No, it looks like 76ers was the last game, so that looks like just an error maybe on the stat that you came across. But yeah, we both got Pelicans moving on to Vegas to the semifinal on the East and the West. Now the December 5th games. The first game is the 4 seed versus 1 seed, Knicks versus Bucks at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. BJ, who you got? Julius Randle just had a 2020 game.
I don't think he's going to have another 2020 game, but he'll have a pretty good 2023 game. Bad pun, I know. Oh. And I think that the Knicks are going to hold down the home court, and they're going to – or not – why did I say the Knicks? Oh, my goodness. It's been a long day. It has been a long day, Drew.
Bucks will hold.
I'm taking the Bucks. The Bucks are at home, and okay. I think Randall will have a pretty good game. But I think at the end of the day, Giannis and Lillard are going to be a little bit too much to overcome. I'm not taking all the road teams. I'm not crazy, I promise. And I did see ESPN says 11 of 12 for Zion last night, so I'm going to say that somebody got it wrong if he went perfect from the field. I don't know.
Well, buzz kills. All right.
I'm
Bucks, Knicks, I got the same as you. Bucks will move on. They got too much. I mean, I just saw they just had 3 players get 30 plus in a game, BJ. It
Yeah.
was Giannis, Lillard, Lopez, Brooke,
Yeah.
Robin.
Yeah.
That's some crazy stuff. I
That's
don't know if they'll be
crazy.
able to do that again, but they'll certainly get past the Knicks in this knockout round and go to Vegas.
We'll have to see if that's ever happened before with 3 players scoring 30 or more in the same game for a single team.
Not in their franchise.
Not in their franchise, I would imagine. No.
And the last game of the knockout round at 9 Central and 10 Eastern, Lakers, Suns.
This is the one that you're going to have to sacrifice some sleep for and just kind of catch up on after
Unless it's a blowout, then I'll go.
Okay, yeah. Well, I guess you can watch till if it's a blowout by halftime or like halfway through the third, you're like, okay, I'm going to bed. But I can't imagine it being a blowout. I think this is actually going to be a really good game. That being said, this might be the toughest one to call. I'll take the Suns because I think I know who you're going to take, and I'll be a little bit different.
LeBron's hungry. Lakers get past the Suns and move on to Vegas.
Yeah,
They don't want to be the first 1 seed to lose to a 4 in the in-season tournament. What kind of nastiness is that? We don't need
LeBron also wants to be an owner in Vegas, and I would imagine he needs to play and win some
games. Got to have some conversations. Got a plan to have some conversations next weekend. Like, hey, got to cement myself. How much do I need to make the Sonics come back? Oh, wait. They'll probably end up staying in Seattle and not moving to.
Yeah.
It'd have to be a brand new team for him.
The Vegas Deserts.
Ugh, that doesn't even sound good.
I don't like it. No.
Yeah, but bring the Sonics back too.
Bring the Sonics back for sure.
Anyway, so we got that. Let's see. We will. What's next? Will it? Oh no, we will. The semifinal game will have been played, so we might as well just finish it out here.
Okay.
Or do you want to save the championship for when we come back?
We could do the championship for when we get back because we're setting up the semifinal matchups by how we just picked, and we can at least take the teams that we expected to. We could take. You know what? Since we'll have the actual matchup, let's project it all out, and then we'll react and project the actual champion.
I was about to say let's do both. Let's go ahead and rock this out. So semifinal, we got. I don't know. We don't know what the times will be, but I imagine the East side will probably play first. Well, I don't know, actually. Let's just go.
They'll both be in Vegas. So
Bucks versus Pacers, neutral site. Who you got?
I've got Bucks Celtics at the neutral site.
Oh, sorry. I got Bucks
that's okay. That's okay. That's all right. I'm gonna.
Gotcha.
I'll make sure to note, and I'm gonna take Milwaukee in this one.
Okay. Man, just because I want this matchup to happen, I'm going to take Milwaukee as well. I'm being very selfish here.
I know which matchup you want to happen.
Some chaotic things could happen, and like the back of my mind, I really wanted to say Indy, but I don't want to see that in the championship. So Bucks move on past Indy for me. So either both of us got Bucks moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Other side. You got Suns versus Pellies. Who moves on for you?
You know what? I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to say that Zion and the Pellies are moving on to the championship game to take on Milwaukee. Zion and Giannis getting to go duke it out for the title in Vegas.
Okay. Well, I've got Lakers Pellies.
And you have
the Lakers moving on to the championship.
Yeah, the matchup that we wanted to see in the 2019-2020 season.
What do we need?
We didn't get.
D'Lo and Lillard, LeBron and Giannis, Anthony Davis and Lopez.
You know what, Drew?
That's a Chris Middleton.
It's a little too chalky for my taste, Drew. We got to throw a little bit of spice in there.
No. If I'm living in a non-chalky world and I redid my bracket, let's rewind. I would say Suns over Lakers, Kings over Pelicans, Bucks over Knicks still, Pacers over Celtics still.
Okay.
Pacers over Bucks,
Okay.
and Suns over Kings.
Okay.
And
I
it
like
will be
that.
Suns,
And
Bucks,
Pacers.
Suns and Pacers,
Mhm.
avoiding the Suns-Bucks rematch.
I like that. I like it. That'd be interesting.
Fun.
But
And
you
in the
got the matchup you wanted though. You got
And in-
Lakers and Bucks. That's what you wanted more.
yeah, and in the championship, you have Pelicans and Bucks. Who you got for right now?
And I'm gonna take the Bucks. I think it's a little too much.
hoist of the in-season trophy, and they're like, "Let's go get the big one." Okay,
That's
okay.
the only one they're gonna hoist though.
Oh, okay. I like it. I don't have the Bucks winning. I got the Lakers winning. Oh my god! I want to get the in-season trophy.
I'm gonna pretend to be shocked.
LeBron gets first ever in-season tournament MVP. Chaos ensues. Go, Congress. Go. That. Go.
We've lost total control of the show, and we're only 20 minutes in.
All right. It's enough in-season tournament for now.
Man.
Lakers winning it all. You got Bucks winning it all.
That's right. It's gonna be interesting, though. Well, it'll be interesting to watch.
Very true. Let's get on over something that's not so interesting, but we got to talk about it, I guess, anyway, because what's this fella doing? BJ, let's talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder's Josh Giddey a little bit. And let's kind of play hypotheticals because they're investigating right now. So now,
I'm not sure I like the hypothetical, but I'll play along.
Maybe not. Police investigating allegations against Thunder's Josh Giddey. What are those allegations?
Yeah.
It's police in Newport Beach, California, conducting an investigation involving OKC Thunder guard Josh Giddey, involved in an improper relationship with an underage girl, according to a statement from Police Chief Joseph L. Cartwright, released Wednesday. Okay. Bumpy start here.
Yeah.
Instantly thinking Karl Malone. But the allegation surfaced on social media last week. I saw the videos that were out of him with this younger girl. In a since deleted post, of course, an anonymous social media user said a girl who is seen with Giddey in videos and photographs was a high school junior at the time. The social media account has since been deactivated.
Yikes. That's always
even more
sketch.
suspect of the situation here. And quote, the Newport Beach Police Department is aware of information being circulated online involving an alleged relationship between professional basketball player Josh Giddey and a female minor. The statement read in part, the Newport Beach Police Department is actively seeking additional information related to these allegations and pursuing all leads and evidence to obtain the facts of the case. So we don't know the facts here yet.
No, and that's what's always troubling when we have things like this that pop up, and you do have to talk about it, because if this is indeed proven to be true, I mean, this is like, what is it about? Just we've seen too many allegations similar to this pop up here recently. Now, Giddey in the NBA, you had Wander Franco in Major League Baseball was alleged to have had a relationship with an underage girl. I mean, it's just absolutely disgusting behavior, no matter how you slice it, if it is indeed proven to be true.
And that's what we're waiting on. I don't know how long we'll have to get this. And I imagine Josh Giddey will get to continue hooping until we get those facts. He's already played a game. He remained in the starting lineup for Oklahoma City's losses to the Philadelphia 76ers and Minnesota Timberwolves since the allegations surfaced.
Yeah,
he's still out there hooping. He hasn't commented on anything. Of course, I mean, if he's got legal representatives, they're going to tell him not to anyway. But I mean, he's of course not going to answer it at the podium and stuff. Yeah. But he's still still hooping, and we just gotta wait to see like what comes out about this. But right now, it's just not looking good, BJ. Based on I saw the videos, and if this is true, then it's just too wide of gap. Girls too young at this time. I mean, people would. I mean, and I know he probably thinks this in his mind that people would view this differently if Giddey was 8 years older at 29 and this girl was 23. It would be a little bit different for him, or 22 or 23, like that would look a little bit better. But right now, while she's possibly still in high school and you're a professional NBA player, age gap considerable, she's still young like that.
I was just so this was if she's alleged to be junior in high school, so that would be what, about 16, 17, Drew, right? I mean, if we're talking, if this doesn't happen for another couple of years, he's 23 and dating an 18-year-old, and this is not a story at all. Like, I don't understand. I understand in why it's obviously a huge deal, and it's one of those things that is very just absolutely bizarre if it is indeed true, like you said, and you've seen the video. I didn't see it before it had been scrubbed, unfortunately. And I didn't see the tweets or anything like that came out, or the posts on X, but I just, it's one of those things that you gotta, there's not anybody your own age. You're a multi-million-dollar worth basketball player in the NBA. There's not somebody closer to your own age that you want to be with. There's not anybody that is going to respect you and want to be with you just because you're you, as opposed to the money that you've got. I find it hard to believe, even in the world we live in, as bad as things can be, with how, some people can be so superficial and looking at things only on a surface level, that there's not somebody that's a more respectable in the same age bracket that could be a perfect match for Giddey. I just don't see the appeal or the attraction there.
Yeah, no, I don't understand it either. It's weird, and especially as a grown man in the NBA, when you got far more options at the table, and I mean that are of age, of legal age. I mean, older or slightly younger than what you are, but still legal, is all within your grasp out there. I mean, as a professional player, I mean, you go to different cities. You run into all different types of people. I mean, you just can't be running into and hanging out with underage ones. I mean, that's just it does add up. So I mean, like I said, I mean, if this ends up on the bad end of the shtick for him, it's just sad that we have to run into these types of things. And
Absolutely.
Still, like, also frustrating. I mean, on a separate note, like Miles Bridges out here just hooping again, and like he made the statement like as long as they win, people are kind of like, I mean, not to quote or anything, but we'll like kind of forget about what's gone on in his past, all the things that he's been accused of, and
I don't know if I believe that. I mean, look at how obviously
they're not
I know
winning,
that,
though, is the thing.
Well, that and look at how much success the Jazz had when Karl Malone was a part of that team. They obviously didn't win the title, but he's considered up there as one of the better players in NBA history, and there are people rightfully so. I should note, because it sounds like I'm going to be critical or defending of Malone, and that's not what I'm doing. And his actions, he was a damn good basketball player, but that doesn't mean you get to diddle little girls. And there are people that rightfully so are going to point that out and criticize him for it. So I guess the only thing for me that I can say is good on Giddey's behalf is that this is, a little bit better of an age bracket difference, as opposed to, like somebody that's just like still a child, but it's still disgusting no matter how you slice it. Yeah.
And just hope for Giddey that this stuff isn't true.
Yes,
I guess.
Absolutely.
But if he is, I don't want to see him anymore.
Do you think this would, in this day and age, Malone was able to have have the career he had, and the allegations came out after he'd retired? With this coming out during his career, do you think that this would be enough that would seriously damage his ability to continue playing? I would think so.
Done.
Yeah.
Done here.
I would think so too.
I could play overseas or something, but done here probably.
Get ready to learn Chinese, buddy. if it's true.
Probably gonna be out of here. But enough of Mr. Giddey, and we'll wait for the factoids to come out to continue on this topic. But
yeah,
not looking great.
No.
Another thing we do want to touch on today, I mean, some guy that owns our team just sold a majority stake of it, Mark Cuban, and sold it to the Adelson family. Hopefully, I've been pronouncing that correctly.
I've heard that, yeah.
But he sold it at a valuation of an estimated $3.5 billion, Beej, and it's going to an Adelson family, and like they're big in Las Vegas based family of
the Sands Resort, right? The Sands
Casino Las Vegas
Resort.
Sands Corporation president and COO Patrick Dumont released an official statement. Said, quote, targeting a closing of the transaction by year end, subject to satisfaction of customary closing conditions and approval of the NBA Board of Governors. Mark Cuban going to stay on top of basketball operations and control of that. Yeah. So I guess you could say that's still good, but
yeah, I don't think this doesn't really affect anything out on the court that you would see. This is more of just kind of, okay, there's going to be a different name signing at the bottom of the checks. I know that's a little bit of an outdated reference, but in terms of what actually this is going to do, the bigger thing that to me it means is that I think there's something, because not just Cuban selling this majority stake in the team, but he's also stepping away from the longtime show that he's been a part of, Shark Tank. Yeah. I think there's more in his future that he's not ready to divulge just yet. I don't know if it's seeking political office. I know he did say that he's not running for president, but that doesn't necessarily bind him to not run for president. It's just one of those things that he's got something that he's looking forward to in his future that he wants to do. And the biggest, in terms of what the most immediate thing that comes to mind is if he's going to seek office, he's going to seek something that he can use, his figure and his clout here in the state of Texas, maybe a run for governor to try to be the first Texas governor that, is able to get legalized gambling in the state of Texas. I think that is at the ultimate goal of all of this that he is working towards, is that he's been a big supporter and big vocalist to try to get gambling legalized here. And all of these moves seem to make sense whether he's making that run himself or if he is going to put more time and effort and attention into trying to get that measure to pass.
He certainly wouldn't win the presidency running Repub. I mean, the Trumpies just love Trump. They'd always pick up for another little candidate.
Oh, hey,
that's a chance.
That's a conversation we need to have in the cloakroom, my friend. I
don't even want to have it. I don't like.
I don't either. But yeah, you're not wrong. I don't think he would, and that's why I think I actually do believe him. I don't think he's running for president, but I do think that it would be if he's serious and wants to expand gambling here in the state of Texas, that might be the best chance that it has to happen, is that he would run and be the one to make sure that it gets gets support.
And one thing that I saw is it's not in this current article that I'm currently looking at, BJ. At least I haven't come across it yet. But the possibility of this new ownership group here looking to maybe get a new venue, which is due for the Dallas Mavericks. And it would be good, especially if it stays in town. Obviously, I mean that would be what they would be doing anyway. They wouldn't move it to join the Wings in Arlington, but it would open up opportunity if the Wings so want to move into that building and get out of the AAC. Which I mean, I'll miss the AAC, of course. Memories will always, or the College Park Center. Get out of the College Park Center into the AAC. I'll miss that, of course. Memories are attached to it, but they need their own place, and I think it would be dope to have them actually in Dallas and have both of our major, pro basketball teams in Dallas instead of having things separated where people from Dallas have to migrate over to Arlington. Yes, it's a kind of short travel, but I mean, some of the traffic of the night may make it longer. But yeah, I mean, you have it there in the AAC. It's something people are used to. I mean, parking's right there. Sure, I mean, you're still going to have to park either way. I mean, you have to pay for parking at the CPC regardless. So, I mean, you just have a little bit You'd have just as convenient parking over there in that main garage. Golly, what was the name of it? I don't remember. But
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about over there. But the thing for me, and Cuban has been saying, that he wanted to have a new arena attached to a casino resort. I'm trying to think where in the city of Dallas would there be land to build that and build a new arena.
I don't know, it'd be expensive, but
Mm-hmm.
whatever happens, I'm down with it. We'll see though, but I would love for a new Mavs arena to happen and make something like that possible. Would the Wings even move? Don't know, but I think they should.
I think they should. I don't think they will. I think that's
right.
It depends on what ownership thinks. I mean, if they think that the move is going to help, or if it's going to cost them too much money, they won't do it. I don't know.
Right. I mean, I just think it would be like the right time as the Wings are on the rise. I mean, won the playoff game last year, all your all-stars out there, saw 2 first team. You got 2 first team caliber players out there, and like you're on the up and up. And, just make the move right there. Your fan base grows as people are knowing about Dallas. Like, oh, you're in Dallas now? Well, I'll go ahead and slide the games. That's not too far. It's just like going to a Mavericks game. So people wouldn't have the excuse. But like you attend Mavericks games, just go to the same building and watch the Wings. It is a whole lot more space, but, it would still be nice. I think it would be good. Be the perfect
Absolutely.
time.
I think so too. It just we'll have to see if that's something that will end up being realized.
But yeah, Cuban selling the majority of stake to the Adelsons and what was that other fellow's name? Dumont. The Dumont.
Yeah.
There you
Dumont,
go.
Yeah.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, finally, BJ's best. Time for that.
That's right, Drew. Well, today, Drew, if you were watching live or listening live, we dropped it a little bit after the date, but today's the last day of November, so we have exactly one more month left here in this this year of 2023, I should say. But Drew, today, November the 30th, actually is the 10-year anniversary of 2 events that are not connected in any sort of way, and that they're really so much different in terms of what happened. The only thing they share is the date that they occurred on. And it just got me thinking about what, kind of historical events can be tied together only by the date, because they're so wildly different that there's no other meaning or connotation or connection between the two. And so the first one is that on this day 10 years ago, Drew, if you're a fan of the Fast and the Furious movie franchise.
Funny enough, I watched that on my plane ride to and from Fast 9. I didn't.
Yeah, well, this actor wasn't a part of Fast 9 because 10 years ago today, we lost Paul Walker. Paul Walker, who was such a big part of the franchise in the first 4 or 5 movies. He had his car crash and at a fast pace on this day 10 years ago. Yeah, you're gonna start choking up, my friend. So it just obviously I don't want to be a Debbie Downer or anything like that, and I won't be. But it happened on this day in 10 years ago in Santa Clarita, California, in Valencia. And he was just 40 years of age, and you think about what we were robbed of, and how the Fast and the Furious movie franchise has kind of gone on since then. And I think that when Paul Walker died, it really did kind of change something, and the movies now are no longer, I mean, they are still about family and about racing to a certain extent, but they have gotten just kind of a little bit out there and far-fetched in terms of believability. I think you would agree.
This is definitely not the same without Paul. It's a different thing. They just kind of stretched it out to try and keep us interested this whole time.
And I mean, if they're making money off of it and people are still interested.
I don't like John Cena as a villain.
I think this is the only one he was in as a villain, though, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, and he was like a partial villain. He ends up not being.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things that if people are still going to interested in watching him, still going to go and see him in the theaters and still going to support him, they'll still make the movies. but it definitely, like you said, it has kind of lost a little something since the death of Paul Walker. But
a little diluted.
Also on this day, 10 years ago, and let me see if I can get this pulled up here. I only bring this up because it is one of those things that you would not believe it happened on the same day if you didn't kind of watch it and see it with your own eyes. So I'm going to play this real quick, just a little snippet of the 23rd.
56-yarder. Does not have the leg. And Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone. He'll run it after the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back 109 yards. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight.
So one of the most just iconic moments in terms of college football history, Drew. This is a play that, they were talking about just last weekend in the rematch that gets played every year between Alabama and Auburn. And it being, the 10 years since that moment happened. And then there was a Hail Mary that was converted to give the win to Alabama in this year's matchup. But today's the actual anniversary of that play occurring. And I just, when you think about how iconic that moment is and, how kind of just beloved Paul Walker was and the fact that those two events happened on the same day, I just can't think of anything similar that we've seen in history where there are two wildly different kind of events that nothing connects the two other than just one day in time.
Well, I don't. I was thinking about it, but I don't have ones that are in the same day. Maybe like back-to-back days.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Chris Paul 60-something point game, I think his 60-point game was like the day after his grandpa died. The Isaiah Thomas 52-point game, 52 or 54 in the playoffs was like the day after his sister died. I don't think anything was in the same game that I know of, or in the same day that I know of. And they would have been no, that's two tragic or two like polar opposite things happening in the same day. Yeah, that's crazy. I can't think of anything.
I can't think of anything either, and that's what I was trying to even put like in a comparison of the two. It's like the day of. I mean, I think the only thing that you could really say maybe, and I even then I don't know if this is the truth or not. In 94, when the OJ chase happened, Drew, obviously neither one of us were around.
How the finals were going on?
Yeah, I think if the finals were clinched or something on that day, that's about the only thing I could compare it to is kind of something that is remembered so significantly all these years later and being kind of overshadowed by the events of that day. Like if the Rangers had won the World Series on the same day that I'm not even going to give a negative, but
what did happen on that day with the OJ chase? They stopped it panned away from the NBA Finals to watch the chase.
Yeah, I do remember that. I don't know if the Rockets ended up clinching the title that night or not. I watched a documentary about it not too long ago, but yeah, that's about the only thing I think you could even remarkably compare it to, and even then, it's not. I don't think it's on the same kind of stratosphere of a level as these two events. So I'm very curious if there's anything that anybody can think of that would, kind of be even more two polar opposites that are only sharing the same day. Like, I know that there have been like two like very notable people that have died on the same day. When Michael Jackson died, there was another actress by the name of Farrah Fawcett who died, but that's kind of both like negatives as opposed to like one really just like almost, unbelievable moment kind of overshadowed by a significant death like Paul Walker's was. So I just can't think of any other examples of something.
Yeah. It would take some time if there is one.
Yeah. But we're here to remember both of these events, the high of victory if you were an Auburn fan, and obviously the tragic loss and just what such a wonderful human being Paul Walker was. And so that is BJ's best on this last day of November 2023.
There you go, BJ. Nice BJ's best. And that is super crazy that I just so happened to watch Fast 9 on the plane there and on the way back.
I had no idea that you had.
Yeah. And I couldn't tell you the last time I watched a Fast movie. Like, I was watching them as they were making them, but I don't remember, the last time I watched.
Yeah, I think I've seen like the first like 3, 4, or 5, and then I don't think I saw the 6th or the 7th one just because of how it ended up happening with when we lost Paul Walker. I was like, I know they're gonna write him out and kill him off or something, and thankfully they didn't, obviously, but it's still one of those that's almost a little too emotional for somebody to go and back and watch.
Right. And now I need to tell you guys about something. You ain't got to watch anything, but you do need to go visit our partners at TeePublic and Fanatics. I'm going to tell you about TeePublic, though. And I'm going to tell you that, ladies and gents, it is sale time. They got the sale going on site-wide up to 35% off, $16 tees, and more. You don't want to miss it. It's going on through the rest of the night, and they might start it back again in the morning, but keep an eye on it. It definitely has got a countdown right now of 7 hours. So as we record on Thursday, make sure you get it. If you're watching us live, get it tonight while it's still hot. It may or may not be back up tomorrow. No promises, but get on over there. Get your fix of sports and coffee to prepare you for the work day ahead. We've got you covered for it. Listen to an episode of the Lowdown while sipping from a Lowdown mug. Shop at the link in our description. Get your discount on these mugs and start your day off with the Lowdown.
Yeah, I love it, Drew. I love a ticking clock, especially because it's one of those that that the sale is ongoing and you need to strike while the iron is hot. You got the similar situation over with our friends at Fanatics, Drew. Right now, they've got a ticking clock promotion. You can get up to 65% off site-wide by using the promo code GIVE. That's good through the end of the day on Thursday, 11:59 Eastern Time. It's perfect to start shopping for that person that never knows what they want for the holidays. Why don't you just give them the gift of some brand new merch from their favorite team? You can look for gifts for him, gifts for her, gifts for kids. They've got some nice jerseys on sale. They have the NFL Social Justice Collection is also available now. Plus, if you sign up to become a Fanatics MVP, you're going to get exclusive weekly deals that are not available to peasants like me that don't have Fanatics MVP. You get to save more ways with Fan Cash. Again, 65% off site-wide by using the promo code GIVE, G-I-V-E, good through the end of the night on Thursday, the 30th of November. That is fanatics.com, officially licensed everything. And Drew, as we find out each and every time that we're in here for another exciting edition of the Lowdown, hey, Merry Chrysler, Cam. It's time to find out what is on Drew's mind.
Let's do it, BJ. What's on Drew's mind here today? Very simple, and you're going to be a part of this conversation here, BJ. I'd like to get you involved. It's new hobbies. And if you want to talk about them, old hobbies, but new hobbies here today, of course, BJ, one of my new hobbies, and I've talked about it, I think, before and after I've gone to go do it, and that is golf. A new hobby of mine recently picked up is about a couple of years ago, have played maybe a dozen rounds so far in total, if I count them all up, but it's one of my new hobbies, another one I've always had since, I was a kid is video games, as I have a controller right here in front of me, as a matter of fact, big Xbox guy.
Nice control there.
So that is what I could consider an old hobby, but I still do it now. I just don't get to frequent it as much, of course, because, work.
We're all busy, man. We understand.
Yeah, but new hobby, golf, and right now the courses are closed, BJ, and it saddens me. It's the winter time of year. I know the snow will be out here this way pretty soon. Going to be holding on to it for at least 3 to 4 months. 3 months, probably 4, going through into early April with it. So we won't get to see courses, get to hit the range, anything like that until mid-April, beginning of July. You probably got to wait, or not beginning of July, beginning of May, I mean, like once the snow is officially cleared and things aren't so wet out there. But still, yeah, tearing up the links, man. I'm tearing something up. I'm tearing the grass up. I'm not necessarily playing a dope game or anything. It's death by 1,000 cuts out there for me. And
you're doing better than I've been. I went out to the driving range a couple times over the past couple months in the fall, and when I had a little bit more time than I've had as of recent, I'm telling you, I know what you mean about just not having the time to find for new hobbies these days. But it's I'm trying to kind of get my footing and get my strength enough that I can excel at the driving range, so that hopefully I'll be at some point ready for the actual course itself by the time they start to open back up.
Yeah, and they got the simulator places and things like that. If I'd have thought about it when I came back to Texas, I'd have gone back to the place I used to go to. They were still open, and I could have hit the simulator out there. They're cheap enough. If I came over on the right day, but I totally forgot about it because I wanted to be on an actual course, which that's a totally different experience than hitting those simulators inside buildings and whatnot. But those are still fun. Just a big golf, and it's like it's turned into a hard hobby real fast. At first, I was just like, I just kind of want to not suck at this, and it was sparingly getting out there. When at first it was kind of work trips, like when they would do a trade and like do some advertisement for us to put a golf team out there. I joined that, and that's how I kind of got started. And then I was like, shoot, I want my own doggone clubs now. I want to go try and be good at this thing. Started to golf a little bit before I came up here to South Dakota, brought the clubs with, and have tried my luck out here. It hasn't been great. This course is evil. I tell you what, it's mean. I don't like it. I want to go back and hit that one. I feel like if I went back to that one now, I'd feel like, oh my gosh, I'm a decent golfer now.
Yeah.
Where, like coming in this one, it's like.
The thing that's always stuck with me over the years, I had a college professor. I don't know if you had him or not. We'll talk about him after the episode. But he said that the reason that it was given the name golf, Drew, is because all of the other 4-letter words were taken. That's how frustrating golf can be. Especially if you're trying to get better at it and you're still practically relative newbie like I am, and you've got more experience than me, but I think you do consider yourself a newbie as well. It can be unforgiving, and that's there've been some all-time greats in other sports who are like, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to golf?
There's a reason that you can drink on the course. There's a reason people smoke a little bit out on the course. That's how stressful the game is.
Yeah.
Like you could want to break your club on hole number 1. And like there's been a time where I wanted to throw that across the course. So I mean, it's the most frustrating game ever created, to be honest. I mean, even when you're good at it, you feel like you're terrible. It's super bad. And like you could feel like you're going to have a good day on hole number 1, and then holes 2 and 3 just, ruin everything for you, or just start off terrible. So you don't even feel like you're going to have a good one. You got 16 more holes to go. You could hit 3 really great shots and be in position and just miss the easiest putts of your life, and then bogey something you were meant to.
And that's the thing is that you watch him on like TV and you're like, oh yeah, I could do that, no sweat. And then you get out there and you're like, oh no, there's no way that you could.
I've never thought that about golf, and like I don't know if anybody in the world that's not like a pro player thinks that. I mean, even they mess up, but it's so much more frustrating when you're like me out there, and like you don't get to frequent golf. Like I tried to frequent it, tried to make it almost weekly, but it didn't end up happening. So, I mean, you don't get to catch a rhythm unless you're out there, actually doing the practice, just like any other sport. But, I mean, heck, golf is so weird. Like, you could be playing all the time and, like, suck and, like, take a break and go play, like, one time and do all right or something. And you'd be like, why? Well, I was playing all the time. Why can't I play like this now or whatever? But it's an unforgiving game for sure. Yeah. I mean, I done got dedicated to the sport. Obviously, I told you I bought my own clubs. I've already bought a new driver because my dumb bleep broke one. And I've bought a ridiculous amount of balls already because the more I play this doggone game, I feel like the more I lose balls. I don't know how that's happening. I lost balls less when I was in Texas. I'm running through them up here. But, just invest in the game, got my own glove and all this. And I don't have like golf shoes or anything. But, I got some polos for golfing and things like that. And,
absolutely,
got a golf hat and, whatnot. So just full on out with this hobby. It's a fun hobby. Definitely the most frustrating one that I've ever come across. And it is, such an individual sport. If you're a person that nitpicks at yourself, golly, like I said, there's a reason they got beer out there so you can make it on through. If I don't know how much sober golf I'd be out there playing. Like I need.
I think that this is very comparable, not because there's anything similar between the two sports, but it's to me it always feels like bowling because you go and you'll have fun and you can go bowl and just have a good time out with friends and family or whatever. And I feel like golf can be the same way unless you're really wanting to improve. Like you've got to be in, going consistently to the alley or to the driving range or playing courses if you want to improve, because otherwise, you'll bowl like 10 rounds or something like that. And you'll be like, oh, my arm, I don't know why. And, with golf, it's the same way. If you haven't been in a while, you're the next morning you wake up and you're like sore all over, especially like in the lower third of your body, and you're like, oh man, I forgot why I don't do this or something like that, because it is a workout and you wouldn't even think about it as such.
Yeah, it definitely can be if you don't get physical activity, and that is your physical activity, it can wear you out, especially playing a full 18. Yeah. That's like it's like 2 to 3 hours to get through that, and I don't like to go too fast. So I like a 2.5 hour to 3 hour thing to get through my round. I hate when I'm rushed at the course. I play worse rushed at the course. I like to relax and get up there and figure out, what I'm doing. If I'm playing like crap, go find my ball and actually hit it, not worried about somebody waiting to tee off over there. Things like that. But I think it's so much worse than bowling. You can get some rhyme or reason and figure out bowling as kind of a regular person. Like I know, like my brothers are really good at bowling, and they could knock out strikes in the course of a game, no problem sometimes. But no matter how good you are at golf, you can still go out there and suck at golf.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's
everybody has a bad day.
Yeah, the painful reality of it. You just hate it. Like you hit a good drive, you hit a good fair shot, you get it right outside the green, and you three putt. Three putt. Two putt would be fantastic. Knock it on over close and just hit it on in. That's great. 3 putt, you're just miserable.
Yeah,
I laugh sometimes, but it's part of the game, and just a new hobby I decided to pick up. And not going around hooping all the time anymore. Not built like that. Not in shape. So this is not in. You still got to be in the shape to a certain degree to play some golf.
Yeah.
But this is the new hobby now. Still play those video games. I said I was going to involve you, BJ. So let's round it out with you. Do you have any new hobbies, or do you have any that have rolled over from your younger days?
I was just saying, when I get the chance to, I still game from time to time. But as of recent, I can't remember the last hobby that I developed, because it's like everything I'm doing these days, Drew, is it's in some form or facet. We're doing a show that could be considered a hobby to me, but we actually want to put forth the time and effort to do a good job. And so, anything that I'm not doing that is, for work, if I'm, trying to put some effort in and to, have us have a great show that we come out and do that, that's about all that I can truly think of, because then, if I'm not working or broadcasting, I take some time and I kind of just relax, or I'll sit back and have the TV on football to, kind of just just decompress after a long week of all sorts of stuff that went on. So that's about it in terms of hobbies. Maybe maybe that's going to be my New Year's resolution, to try to find a new hobby to keep and to pick up at the beginning of 2024 and to keep at least through the whole entirety of the year, and maybe even further.
We'll see how it goes for us. But new hobby, golf for me. that's what's on Drew's mind, man. New hobbies here today, and
Absolutely.
not on that docket. But for the WNBA docket, we got a myriad of topics here.
Yes,
So
we
let's
do.
start off with I saw some crazy numbers for one of our own recently, BJ. I've seen numbers like this overseas, and I know there's a lot of different leagues. So, I mean, I would have to like compare and contrast, like, okay, how good is this league compared to this league? This player did this here, but this player just did this. So that's the struggle of all the different overseas leagues that the ladies play in.
Yeah.
The WNBA. So, like, Teresa Play-Santos had a 30-30 game before. I mean, that was like, I don't know, in the early days of like she had just left the Wings or something like that, put up 30-30 overseas. And I was like, what's going on? I don't remember what league it was in, but Satu Sabali, the Dallas Wings, had a big night the other day on the 29th, yesterday.
Yesterday.
As we record on a Thursday. She had 29 points and 28 rebounds, BJ.
Wow.
You talked about Julius Randle's 2020 game the other day. He had a light 2020. She had a big 2020.
Oh, yeah. She nearly got 30-30, like you were just saying.
Right. 1 point away from it and 2 boards away from a 30-30. Had 3 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks in the game, and brought her team in a comeback win in a game. Let's see, what did they say the name of this team? Led Shandong to a comeback win over Habai 71-66 at the last minute. Clutch from Satu.
Yeah.
Frankly, it's not a surprise. Like it is surprising when you see 28 rebounds. That's ridiculous. That's a lot for a forward, not somebody that's. Well, I mean, like I think of her more small forward, but I mean, maybe she was playing
power or
kind of a hybrid for it at this overseas game. She's probably one of the taller ones on her team, so she probably was down there eating up the boards. But still, I mean, 28 boards is 28 boards, and that's a ridiculous number right there. And 40 minutes of play, just eating up every bit of it right there. And like it's surprising because when you see 28 rebounds, it's like, dang, like not many people grab 28 rebounds. But like I'm also not surprised because just a couple of years ago, BJ, she was a EuroLeague MVP in overseas play. So I mean, she's dominated the overseas game when she's healthy. I mean, that's just kind of a real, like a literal tune-up for her all the time, and she's just kind of showing her stuff, like what the unicorn can truly do out there on the court.
I mean, just think about this, because you're talking about 28 boards in a game. If she were to do that in the WNBA, that'd be a new record. The record is 24 for Shamik Holtzclaw of the Mystics.
That would be major. She'd have to play a whole lot of 4 and 5, but it would have to be the perfect matchup for that to work out. Like I said, I imagine she had a slight little mismatch with Hyde out here. I can't confirm. I can't. I'm not seeing the roster.
I haven't seen any footage or anything either.
But still, she's. I mean, that's still big time, and 28 rebounds still crazy. No matter how you look at it here, coming off of a first team All WNBA selection this year. Just poised for more big things from Satu. I mean, I know there's a lot of players who are playing really well overseas. I mean, I've seen Jordan Canada put up some nice numbers so far. I mean, I've seen some campaigns about her need to be the MVP of the league that she's playing in. So I mean, that's the type of things that she's doing, and she had a really good year as well.
Keep putting up those kind of numbers, absolutely will be. Yeah,
and in the right scenarios, players can really thrive overseas and get that experience that they want to get over there. And Satu, just tuning it up, man. I mean, that's just, who knows what we can see for her, like completely unleashed. And I just feel like we started scratching the surface for real this year with what she is, and know that she's a first team All WNBA player and now 2-time All-Star. And man, I'm excited. I want the season to start now.
Yeah.
She's putting up some big numbers.
We still have a few minutes. We'll make it through though. We'll get there.
Yeah, but I thought that was an insane stat to come across, and I think I want to say I woke up to it, when it popped up yesterday.
It's possible. It feels like that's what we've been, the last couple of weeks. We've been, not seeing him as they happen real time, but we wake up and we have to go back and see what happened.
She was 5 rebounds short of tying the record in WCBA history.
Wow.
Of 33 rebounds.
Crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
That's nuts.
That is just nuts. Man.
But yeah, that's what's going on in the overseas department. But
Awesome.
let's go ahead and hit this other piece because it's a little bit shorter, and then we'll spend more time on this last topic. Chiney Ogwumike got hitched, BJ, and
Yeah.
at first she was doing like a mystery reveal, like didn't show the guy's face in some of the posts that she was having, which I mean she can do it whatever she wants,
right? Yeah.
and then just the epic reveal, like after the wedding had already happened, like I don't even know, like some women make it known when they're in relationships and some really don't, and like they just pop up like boom, we're engaged, oh the wedding is the next day and stuff like that. Like somebody instantly comes to mind that I know of right now. And this is kind of what Chiney did. She just popped up like boom, y'all didn't know it, but I got a man and we're getting married. Oh, and that's sooner than you think. And
I mean, and I kind of respect it a little bit, is that, for me at least, I don't feel like everything should be out there in public. So if you want to have a little bit more of an intimate kind of relationship and not have it all out there, that's perfectly fine to me.
Right. Yeah. And they got engaged back on Christmas Eve of last year. And I don't even think I knew that, So, no. I mean, it's just something they were definitely keeping under the radar until they wanted to reveal it. And it's a big, cool little reveal here. And Chiney Ogwumike, and she got married to boxer Rafael Akpiori. Hopefully,
I'm going to let you hold on to that. I'm not even going to try it.
Rafael Akpiori. They married in an epic 4-day wedding celebration. So that's what's going on. I think that's super cool. And I mean, they're a handsome couple here. These wedding photos are awesome that I'm getting to check out here from what they had going on. And man, so.
I'm not familiar with the full Nigerian custom, but looking at the pictures,
that's what I was about. It
does seem really cool.
That's what I was about to dive into here. The couple celebrated their nuptials. Nuptials. Never seen that word before. In an epic 4-day event that included not one but 2 wedding ceremonies and a staggering 10 different bridal looks for Ogwumike. The festivals kicked off with a welcome party on the 15th of November at Ogwumike's family home, followed by the next day by a traditional Nigerian ceremony at the Igbo Catholic Community Center in Houston, which is where she's from, which was attended by more than 900 guests. Ogwumike is a first-generation Nigerian American, and Akpiori was born and raised in Lagos, Nigeria. Quote, it was a royal celebration of Nigerian culture, family, and community, the athlete tells People. To pull it all off, she worked with wedding planner Doyen Fash in collaboration with The Knot. Chiney said The Knot helped tremendously, particularly with vendors and invitations. Per Ogwumike and Igbo culture, per Ogwumike's Igbo culture, the ceremony unfolded in 3 stages, beginning with the groom introduction and bride's welcome. During the wine carry stage, Ogwumike went, quote, on a search for Akpiori. Quote, he's hiding in the crowd. She finds him and offers him palm wine to drink, and he drinks it, and they go receive a blessing from her parents. The bride and groom were married and officially introduced as a married couple. At that point, Ogwumike became an Edo bride as she assumed her husband's culture.
Okay. Interesting. And, I just did see this that gives, both you and I a little bit of hope. This is another one of those couples that met in the digital sphere. It says they matched on Hinge and instantly bonded.
Shut up! I didn't get to that part.
Oh, sorry. Was that what you were going to get to?
Did they really? I wasn't going to. Where did I? Hold on.
I'm reading on The Knot itself. They matched on Hinge and instantly bonded over their shared Nigerian heritage. She's a first-generation Nigerian American, and he moved from Lagos to the U.S. at the age of 17 when he was recruited to play high school basketball in Wichita, Kansas. So that's incredible. I mean, they're awesome. I mean, I it looks like that's one of those that they've already had so many happy moments, and they got engaged and did not have to kind of flaunt it all out there. I mean, this is the kind of relationship, Drew, that's built to last in the long run.
Should be good, man. That's super cool. I didn't come across that they met on Hinge, but that's crazy. I use that app. Maybe there's a little out there.
It's on this article from the knot.com.
Right. I was on
it helped they helped to get all that the festivities put together.
Gotcha. Well, that's definitely super cool. Congratulations to the happy couple.
Absolutely.
And moving on in our WNBA topics here, let's talk some Skylar Diggins-Smith.
Let's do it.
Skylar Diggins-Smith is a free agent as of right now, and she is going to need a new home because she is not coming back to Phoenix.
And she was not happy with how her time in Phoenix was.
Yeah, and she teased a little bit over a month ago when fans are trying to speculate where she wants to go. And, there's a tweet out there that said, Sky, I think you should do a Final Five graphic like the players who are making their college choices. That would be spicy if it's legal. He said, well, 5 teams is a lot. You think it's 5 teams I fit on? That's something, interesting to think about here. And there was another post. I want to make sure I can come back across it here. Oh, look at the Athletic being rude to me, talking about subscribe.
It's worth it.
Well, where'd it go? Darn it. I think that was it. Okay, maybe I don't have it anymore. But yeah, she was messing around on there, and some people had mentioned the New York Liberty, and she was asking would I come off the bench. I'm like, nah, she wouldn't be coming off the bench anywhere, in my opinion. No. And so, like, I've already made a mini list of some places that are X'd out, and she's talking about you think there's 5 teams I fit on, and I want to get it down to just a few teams, if that. But I've already marked some places off the list. Obviously, her original home, her original home of Dallas is off this list. Phoenix is, of course, off this list. She won't be returning there, so we can rule out 2 franchises out of 12 so far, so 10 left. Let's get on to it. She's not going to go to New York. I mean, I don't even know if they can afford it with all the superpower that they've got over there, and they've got Sloot. They don't need another starting point guard out there. They don't with UNESCO out there. I mean, there's no point in having Sky. So I've already crossed New York out. So that's 3 gone.
Cross Liberty, cross out the Aces. I don't think
that's next on this list to be marked out here. I mean, they got Chelsea Gray and Kelsey Plum. I mean, Chelsea did hurt her foot. We'll see how she is for next season. Maybe they give SDS a call if that's serious. But right now, not seeing it. They don't need her. We mentioned Phoenix. And I'm going to go ahead and mark off Washington because I think they've got nice tools over there that they don't necessarily need a Sky Dig. But if you did and that team was healthy,
watch out.
That's a lot of firepower. I mean, you got a first-team all-defensive backcourt, Cloud out there. I mean, she's your point guard. So, I mean, and you got Atkins and then Brittany Sykes is out there, Shakira Austin, Elena Deladon. Don't necessarily know that they would need Sky. If they did, I mean, they would be super powered out there. But I think they're really good. As is, they just weren't able to be healthy out there last year and be a real threat all season long with all the time that was missed from their stars. But for right now, I've got them marked out in the Skylar Diggins-Smith sweepstakes. So that leaves 7 teams as of right now, BJ. And we're not going to have that many as we go along. But I'll just mention the teams. We got Atlanta still alive, Chicago still alive, Connecticut, Indiana, Los Angeles, Minnesota, Seattle. Let's see what's realistic. To me, BJ, I think Skylar's still trying to win. Okay, she's trying to win a ring, and she's not looking to fully rebuild for the most part. So I think that can, as I drop my sticky notes here, that can go ahead and eliminate a Seattle who is pretty much in a full rebuild mode. Go ahead and mark them off right there. Pairing with Jewel Lloyd, it's a nice backcourt, but they just don't have enough to help out those two out there. If she had a little bit more help, if it was the Storm that still had Stewie out there, then absolutely make that happen. But it's not. Other places I'm thinking about on here, I just don't know that I see her in Los Angeles.
No, I don't. I don't see her in LA or Chicago for that matter. If I'm being
Canada
honest.
Out there. as well, playing well. But it just doesn't seem like a place that Skylar would fit with that team.
Mhm.
It just doesn't make a whole lot of basketball sense to me.
No.
So we can go ahead and eliminate the Los Angeles Sparks from that. And you said Chicago, BJ?
I did Chicago, yeah. I think they've got some pieces, but I don't see her as much of a fit over there either.
It will be interesting, though.
Mhm.
Courtney Williams will be an unrestricted free agent in January after doing just a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
And they do have Weatherspoon out there now, BJ. A lot of familiarity Weatherspoon has with Skylar Diggins-Smith. I got a quote right here. Quote, I've had a relationship with Skylar since she was a little girl, Weatherspoon told the Sun-Times. I'll just say this. Skylar. There's a quote
That's true.
So,
that's true.
I think it would be a nice little mix to throw on out there. But and what kind of helps make the case for it is James Wade not being out there, because he's the one who wanted to invest in Marina Mabry, bringing her over there to make her the point guard of the future out there in Chicago. And I don't know if Courtney Williams leaves, then it would make some more sense. If she tests free agency and signs somewhere else. Then you could shift Marina over to playing the 2, so she doesn't have to be a point anymore. Skylar could take that over. And, I mean, Skylar Diggins feeding, Marina Mabry for 3 or Kalea Copper off the dribble or for 3. I mean,
there is some nice things to think about with that. But I don't know if I see it. I mean, I think there's another team that we're going to talk about that makes a little bit more sense to me, at least.
And you come back healthy with Izzy Harrison and company with Rebecca Gardner off the bench. That could be nice. I'm going to leave them open on my end of things. Another one that I could probably cross off here, Minnesota, BJ. I don't know that you want to go out there. And for some reason, I'd have to check back and look at the history between these two. But I feel like in the back of my mind, there's tension between Reeve and Diggins-Smith. Don't quote me on that, but they're also in somewhat of a rebuild. Fee is out there. I mean, they did still make the playoffs in their struggle year. I mean, you had a Skylar Diggins-Smith to that, her and Nafisa Collier. I mean, who knows what it could actually do with just those 2 stars and just putting a whole lot around it. It would have to be a lot of perfect pieces. But, I mean, who knows? But I don't think it's firepower enough to compete for a championship right now. And that's what she's going for. So let's cross Minnesota off this list. So now we're down to a final 4, BJ. And you're questionable on Chicago. You don't think it'll work out there. But which of these last 3 teams intrigues you the most? Atlanta, that could use probably a starting point guard out there. They've got some people like Aria McDonald, but she hasn't stayed healthy and hasn't taken over that role, and nobody else has claimed it or anything like that. So that's kind of open. They have guard power out there. And they had 3 All-Stars this year, but no for sure fire point guard. Connecticut, they used to have nice guard play out there, but now they've kind of shuffled things around where Heidemann was kind of the lead guard out there. Alyssa Thomas ran most of the point. Could take some pressure off Alyssa Thomas to send the Skylar Diggins-Smith out there to pair up with a DeWanna Bonner and company and get a healthy Bree Jones next season. Could be nasty. Or the Indiana Fever, where Skylar Diggins-Smith could be the final piece to getting them out of the slums and being a good team. And I'm super glad that you had that comparison with Kelsey Mitchell earlier, BJ, having those similar numbers. It just makes it all the more interesting as to, did that work out there? And I think it would. I think
so too.
Skylar is more of the point guard type player, but she can definitely score whenever you need her to. And Kelsey is just that bucket getter. And, what separated them probably from all-star appearances over the years, even though the numbers are pretty similar, is just that Kelsey's been on a losing team, like a terrible team this whole time. Hasn't had the national TV games, hasn't gotten the exposure. Maybe put her in Dallas, does she get close to the same amount of all-star and all WNBA appearances? Maybe. Might get close, maybe have another 1 or 2 at least. But, Skylar's point guard ability out there facilitating the basketball is definitely something that, helped her cases to making, all-star appearances over the years combined with her scoring. But I think, that's what they need in Indiana because they got the bigs figured out. Aaliyah Aaliyah Boston, Nalissa Smith. I mean, they've got the depth around it to help things out. They've got nice pieces, and they got Kelsey Mitchell out there, and a whole lot of hosts of younger players to fill out their roster. And Erica Wheeler could be a great backup to Skylar Diggins-Smith out there. I mean, you put Skylar in the mix. I think that automatically puts Indiana in playoff contention.
Absolutely. That's the team that I was looking at, in fact, and it was just a happy, kind of happenstance that one of the recommended searches and comparisons was the SDS and Kelsey Mitchell comparison. I mean, you're talking about, you could have SDS come in and almost be like the Chris Paul on this young team that would come in and be the veteran that would bring that kind of experience and be able to get you a bucket when you need it, but doesn't have to have the center of attention be on her. She will play the game and feed her teammates and give them all the looks that they want. And I think that it's the most intriguing to me. I think I'd rank it Indiana. Atlanta would be my second, and then Connecticut, because Connecticut's got some weapons. They were in playoff contention without her. They could be a title contender, I think, if they were able to bring her in. Atlanta had a lot of things go their way, and I think that could be also another situation where you bring in an SDS, and they could also be shooting up the playoff contender list, and maybe even give a team like a Vegas or a New York a scare in the playoffs, and while they figure things out. But I think those three are the most intriguing to me right now. I'd go Indiana, I'd go Atlanta, and then I'd go Connecticut, just because Indiana and Atlanta are not necessarily haven't been as talked about and as relevant in terms of title contention over the past few years. And bringing in a Skylar Diggins-Smith would give them that legitimacy and bring them up into that conversation, in my opinion, at least.
It's hard for me to cut it down to three, because I feel like Chicago. There's some way of making it work, but I'm going to go ahead and mark them off as not making a real run at Skylar Diggins-Smith here.
I think Chicago could be 4, but like I said, the three that I look at the most would be in that order that I listed, with Indiana, Atlanta, and Connecticut, then Chicago.
I'm struggling here, because I now feel like, as much as I just hyped Indiana, I want to bump them down to the third best on this list, because the more I think about Atlanta, the more it just makes sense as far as like what you have out on the floor. Former teammate Alicia Gray, who is now an all-star level player now, get her back. I mean, she was rookie of the year with Skylar out there. And that duo getting back together, and Skylar Diggins-Smith and Ryan Howard. I mean, the assists are just going to go through the roof, and for all the threes that Ryan's going to knock down. And I mean, it would probably help the progression of Cheyenne Parker to maybe stay an all-star and not just be like a one-off all-star appearance with a true point guard out there helping her out. So Atlanta, it looks real nice. It looks real nice, and
that's why they're number 2. Because I mean, I could see a very similar path to them, and maybe just be a little bit different from you, Drew.
Yeah, man. I mean, all these scenarios feel like they would be really good ones. So I almost want to kind of defer and not rank them at this point, because I mean, I can make cases for them all. I mean, the Atlanta case, and obviously Indiana,
Connecticut
nice
too.
To put that too. I mean, the dish Skylar to Boston inside off the window is good, or whatever. Or dish to Alyssa or Nalissa, she finds Boston inside bucket go. I mean, it just makes all the sense in the world. Or Skylar Diggins-Smith drives, kick out Kelsey Mitchell, 3-pointer, bang. And Connecticut, I mean, that's kind of what they're missing as well. It would take some. Well, I say that. I mean, it would just take some pressure off Alyssa Thomas from having to do so much at the point guard. Though I imagine she would still try and set all the records she can, triple-double wise and things like that. But you get a healthy Bree Jones, you got Alyssa Thomas, you got DeWanna Bonner, you add Skylar Diggins-Smith to it. I mean, that's a team that has been on the outskirts of a championship for years. I mean, you added this type of point guard to it. Maybe it finally gets over the hump. Who knows? Yeah. Who knows? So I really like all those 3 teams. I won't rank them. It's far too hard. But the final 3 for Skylar Diggins-Smith needs to be Atlanta, Indiana, and Connecticut.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you.
And that'll do it on the WNBA side of things. It's now time to play a little bit of With It or Quit It, ladies.
That's right.
And I am back at the helm for some With It or Quit It. And it feels like it's been all too long since
It
I
has been.
play this little game, but we're ready to play it. And I got 5 questions for Mr. BJ. Just going to ask him whether he's with it or quit it on these 5 questions here. Real simple questions, nothing too crazy, something you probably heard before. Maybe, maybe not. Got some interesting stuff here today. But
Okay.
we'll see how BJ feels about it. You ready to go, BJ?
I'm ready. Let's do it, Drew.
All right,
Let's do it.
Let's do it. With it or quit it officially on the docket. And here is question number 1 from Mr. BJ. Number 1, BJ, the best root beer out there, best soda, best root beer is Barks and not Mug. With it or quit it?
I'm not a big root beer guy, first of all. So before you come at me, I never really got the taste for it. It's not terrible, but it's not my preferred go-to choice.
Fair enough.
But I will say with it, I will go with Barks over Mug.
Okay, it's a good call. It's a good call. Funny enough, as I have a mug in my fridge right now, but I do enjoy Barks heavily. It's just what they happen to have at Dollar General.
Oh yeah.
Cool. He's with it on the first one. Let's see how he is on number 2 here, Mr. BJ. This one's a little personal question that you. Well, I guess it's not a question actually. You are the tallest of your siblings. With it or quit it?
Let's see. So I believe that it may be a tie. If I'm not mistaken, I think I've got one of my brothers is the same height as me. So it's technically with it because we're both the tallest, but I'm not taller than him. I'm not the tallest, but I am tied to be the tallest. So I'll give you on the technicality. I'll say with it.
Okay. All right. We'll rock with that. Man, same height. Interesting.
Yeah.
Does it matter who's okay. Well, he's 2 for 2 on the with it so far. Let's see how he does with number 3 for Mr. BJ. Okay, this harkens back to us making our in-season tournament picks, but I guess you kind of already answered it. But in a non-chalky world, let's see if you would change it. A team without an NBA title. There are 4 in this in-season tournament. Phoenix, Sacramento, New Orleans, and Indiana that don't have an NBA championship. A team without an NBA title will win the NBA in-season tournament. With it or quit it?
Okay. Drew, I'm going to say quit it. But if there was one that would, I think maybe Phoenix. I think Phoenix has probably the best chance out of the 4 that don't have a championship trophy to get not just a in-season tournament ring, but an actual ring as well. But I'm going with Milwaukee, so I'm going to say quit it.
Yeah, I figured it would be quit it once you picked Milwaukee earlier, and I was like, dang, I almost had a whole question already with it later. We almost got it. You got to make it into the championship game.
Yes. Yep.
Suns
and
have
I mean,
the championship before, and they've lost.
And that doesn't mean just because I said quit it doesn't mean I can't be wrong, Drew.
Yeah. Who knows?
So,
well, let's see how you do with number 4 and where you stand on this question, Mr. BJ. You, if you're, I guess this is a relationship scenario probably, you would rather cook than do the dishes. With it or quit it?
That's a great question because, I would be, happy in a relationship, I guess.
Or in any setting, like whether you're helping out with, like, if it's Thanksgiving, you'd rather be helping cook the Thanksgiving dinner than as opposed to clean up all the dishes and the pots and the pans.
Yeah, I think I'd say with it. Just because even though I know I'm not the best cook out there, I think it might be the part that I'd probably be the best at. I've been for years of my life, I've been told you're just in the way, get out of the kitchen. So I can't imagine I'd be very beneficial in a cleanup situation. It may just be because there's not enough space for, that many bodies, but I don't know. That's just based off of kind of my experiences growing up. So
that's just how the women are in the kitchen. Hey, get out! Oh wait, this is
I
mine.
suppose so. Yeah,
Yeah, my
suppose so.
Get out of my kitchen. Yep, happily. I'll go away. Smells good though. And lastly, BJ, as he is with it on 3 out of 4. Let's see how he is on this final question, number 5.
I'm not changing my answer.
Die Hard, the movie Die Hard,
Mm-hmm.
is not a Christmas movie. With it,
You shut your little mouth right up. No, absolutely not. How dare you? That is blasphemous. That is just blasphemous, Drew. Absolutely quit it.
Okay.
Man, you are out of line. This podcast is over. This friendship is over. No. No, so I mean, and it's one of those that's an interesting debate because obviously it depends on what you view as a Christmas movie. You know, I've always been the kind of person that can subscribe to a notion that you could have a Christmas action movie. I mean, you could consider Gremlins to be a Christmas movie. Honestly, I don't think of it as that, but there are people that do, and that's their prerogative. You know, I mean, it doesn't always have to be either a comedy or a rom-com or a sentimental movie, in my opinion. So I'm absolutely on Team Quit It. I think Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and I even have a shirt that says so, Drew.
Well, unfortunately, BJ, I have not seen Die Hard, but I'm still.
You got to rectify that this
I think
holiday
I'm on
season.
even though I haven't seen it, can I still vote on the fact that I think it might not be a Christmas movie? Because from what I've heard, that it just happens on Christmas.
You can do whatever. I mean, it's a free country.
I
think you should watch it first before you vote on it. But it really depends on how you feel about it once you've seen it. I mean, it's a timeless to me. It says, now I have a machine gun. Ho ho ho.
Fair enough. I'll have to check it out. It's actually in theaters, and AMC theaters are going to be showing it for a little while in honor of the holiday season. So.
Is it an anniversary? Did it come out?
I don't know. I think it's just like I think they're just bringing it back because people love it so much.
Yeah,
so
it's possible.
It's out in theaters for a little bit. You can also watch it on Hulu, or I think it was Vudu or something, and it's free. I'm not sure, but
so it is the 35th anniversary. It came out in 1988.
35th anniversary. Okay,
that may be why they're putting it back in theaters.
That's probably it. Because I was like, why would I do that if I could just watch it
stream it at home or something like that? That's fair. That's fair. But
it is out there, and that's With It or Quit It, BJ.
And that's the show, Drew.
It is indeed a good one, BJ. Man,
a lot of stuff, a lot of chock full of stuff, man.
One of these days this season, we're gonna get each other on these With It's and these Quit It's. we're gonna get each other. I should have just said Die Hard is a Christmas movie and prayed that you picked the Phoenix Suns to win the in-season tournament, I guess.
I think it may have been just this time, it may have been ordering. If you had kind of moved them around a bit, and changed that last one, the wording, you might have gotten a 5 for 5.
I could skew it like that to do it, but I try and get the questions to where we legitimately fall into it. Like we don't like I didn't plan like, oh, he's definitely gonna say it here. Oh, he's definitely gonna say it here. I want to be like, oh, okay, he does say with it. Oh, it. Oh, great.
Yeah. More authentic reaction that way.
Absolutely. But as we said, that's With It or Quit It, and that is the episode. Make sure you guys out there watching and listening as we record on Thursday, you follow this podcast wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to our podcast. Just give us a follow and make sure you're staying up to date on all the extra episodes and things that we dish out. And whenever that comes out, you can listen to it immediately for your road trip or morning preparation ahead of your work days, however you want to listen to your podcast, however you do that. And give us a follow wherever you get your podcast. Rate and review the show. Hit the 5 stars over on Apple and Spotify where you can actually do the rating. You can only review over on Apple, and if you can review for us, we would greatly appreciate it. We appreciate the ratings as well. We got our Spotify Wrapped or whatever, and all we got was 5-star ratings from you guys over on Spotify, so we appreciate you. Thank you for the love over on Spotify. Keep it up. Keep hitting those 5 stars for us. It gives us that added exposure where we can find more more fans out there like you guys. And Cam says Spotify is goated. Go over there and hit those 5 stars on Spotify, guys. Do that for us. And make sure if you're watching on YouTube, which I know some of you are, hit that like button and subscribe if you are not subscribed to the channel already. We definitely would appreciate that. And feel free to eat up the chat just like Cam is and comment while you're here. We definitely will interact with the chat as we go along. We like to involve them in our shows. So if you're here, chat it up if you want to. I understand if you want to lurk and just watch as well. But we appreciate any and all engagement. And like I said, hit that subscribe button so you're staying up to date. And this is where all the bonus episodes are coming, ladies and gentlemen. They're coming to YouTube. So if you missed the last bit of bonus content where I was talking about the NBA City Edition jerseys, you can go check that out. The playlist is over with us over on YouTube. So just shift on over to bonus episodes and check that out. We got some old ones that you can check out as well if you didn't see any of those old bonus episodes from last season as well. So those are all there in the bonus playlist over on our YouTube. Got a new episode coming up next week. Probably going to have a little bit earlier time. It's going to be full-fledged basketball season, not just college like I'm in right now, but high school is joining the fold starting next week for me. So we're going to have a little bit of an earlier episode. And the week following, just want to give you a precursor for that. I won't be at that one. That'll be BJ and Trip holding it down over here for you.
A couple weeks from now, right?
Right, yeah, a couple weeks away is when that's going down. So things will be a little bit shifting around throughout the next few months as basketball season gets us. So you'll be seeing a fair amount of Trip. Some of the episodes will be a little bit earlier. Just bear with us on some of the changes we'll be having to make on the fly as we go along. But appreciate everybody tuning in today, listening to this episode, checking things out, and shout out to Cam for being in the chat here today.
Yes, sir.
Mr. BJ, got anything to add before we roll on out of here?
Yeah, don't forget, if you were watching live, you still got time. Go over to TeePublic and Fanatics, shop the sales before they expire. That's a ticking clock. You better go over there and get yourself some great merch at a discounted price as we draw ever so near to holiday season.
And don't forget, guys, we stretched out that giveaway that I was talking about when BJ played the How Long He Been Here game and came away successful. We were going to do it pre-Thanksgiving. We extended it through the rest of this year. So we'll make that announcement at the start of 2024, who wins it. You guys make sure you're subscribed to YouTube, though. That's the only way that you can win. You have to be subscribed to our YouTube channel. Per BJ, he said to enter, you got to be subscribed. So if you're not a subscriber, you can just kiss that giveaway goodbye. You can't be in it. Just hit that subscribe button and you're automatically you got a chance to win. So we'll get you hooked up with that, and we'll keep you up to date on those giveaway opportunities for you guys if we have any more in the future. But that's the one going on right now. You got one more month to get yourself in this giveaway. But guys, that's going to do it for us here on this latest episode of the Lowdown. We'll catch you next time for another edition of the Lowdown Sports Show. See you then.